quick crypto family, Coin Factory family, you know it, back again with your Caspa crypto live stream. Hopefully having a great day so far, people, and looking forward to today's content. In today's stream, we got some very interesting news, a lot of smart contract update. We got a big one from Igra Labs, which is fantastic. We got some more developments regarding Casplex, namely Shy again, once more raising concerns, and again I think justifiable and concerns that we need to take into account as well. And then we equally got another big update, which is regards to Trump's tariffs in the court being voted as illegal, and they will go into effect October 14th, which gives Trump's administration time to try and appeal the decision in the Supreme Court. Ultimately, right now we have got a lot of interesting sources. It'll be a bit structured as I try to make my streams, but also a bit all over the place. That being said, all the information I provide in these streams, you know, is just trying to build more knowledge for you all. What's going on in the crypto space, going on in the Caspa community right now, and understanding that we can't be emotional in these times. We've got to think logically, and logically speaking, the markets are stagnant, they're consolidating, but higher highs seem to still be very much on the horizon given the imminent catalyst. That my intention is to make a video either tomorrow or Thursday for the channel, and when I make the video I plan to also disclose one of my sources, my alpha sources for my VIP, which is institutional confirmation that we are still early and that they are waiting for regulations. So we know what we're looking out for, and again, if you want to learn more about this sort of stuff, then check out the VIP. That being said though, welcome back again everybody to the stream. Hope you're having a great day. Buffalo Theory as always first, brother, and yes, I know you're currently eating tacos on Taco Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're enjoying those tacos and are looking forward to the content that will hopefully also fill your palate. Welcome back, Film Brother. Hope you're doing very, very well. And you too, Dimitar as well. Future Crypto Elite is here indeed. Gosu, once more, brother. Welcome back. And you too, all allow. Welcome back again, brother. Hope you're doing very, very well. Taylor, welcome, welcome. I'm here early for once. Yes, you are. I decided to stream a little bit later today because my typical time of streaming is very much hit or miss. Right now, my time for going live at all in streams are actually very hit and miss, because I'm still going through my own personal issues, but I'm able to find the time now to at least still go live. So we got it now. For me, it's 10 PM, so it's quite late, but I know for some people it is also around lunchtime or evening. So hopefully you're all having a great time, and I'm looking forward to the content coming through to you today. Falco again, brother, welcome back indeed, brother. Everybody else tuning in once more. And Next Level Cash as well, welcome back. Nade Hart, welcome back again. Smart contracts, more like AC contracts. I'm probably have missed a joke there. I apologize, me and my thick skull. But yeah, smart contract news will be interesting to say the least. Rich Jade, hope you're doing very, very well. When smart contracts? That is the golden question. Unfortunately, we still don't know. Sources and leaks suggest in the coming days. We are currently 2 days past that deadline. Now, sources suggest in the coming days, but we ultimately don't know when they're going to be. If I was to hazard a guess, I'd like to believe that the KEF or Casplex team want to launch it when the market is in a more of an uptrend. So they may possibly be waiting for Friday's job report, which hopefully will come back in support for rate cuts coming through in September's FOMC meeting. So if that's the case, then maybe we'll see it on Friday. Again, we've got to wait and see. And I'll be sure to keep you all updated as soon as I can on any form of timelines on when they'll be released. Through my free Discord server, namely also in these streams as well. But if you want to find out more in real time and up to date, then check out the free Discord server right here on my homepage, also down in the description. Just check it out, browse around. Haven't got to be too active on there, but we are actively talking and trying to learn a lot more about the space, and equally having other people in the community, from Cody to Tony, to many other people like Toggle as well, who are interactive and also trying to spread more news about what's happening in the sector. You can learn a lot more in there, so I highly recommend doing so. Pump higher, I hope it does. Right now Caspa is currently up 2.17% on the daily time frame, valued at 0.8 or 0.08, so 8.4 cents. And we can see again Caspa did momentarily kind of touch that level of support around that 8 cent zone, which again technically speaking, you could argue this is a higher low, but I think that's a bit too exact. Point being is, I would argue that this here is, again, provided the markets do start making a reversal here, this is just a double bottom here again, because they're both similar prices come back down, and Caspa currently for the most part is holding that. It's currently now trading between this green buy zone here, which is good to see. And hopefully, therefore, as it seemingly found support twice at 8 cents, that would be a good indication that Caspa hopefully making that move up as well. If you're looking at, market patterns and whatnot, you could highlight this current trend line here, which, if you highlight the trend line here, you can see that it's currently forming this triangle pattern, which means if Caspa does, trade like that, it could then break above that and go up higher. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Again, right now for me, I'm not too much focusing on that sort of pattern. I'm also just focusing on the support levels of Caspa, which seem to be around this zone here of 8 cents being a critical one. And I highlight that because, again, if you've been watching Caspa for a while, you can see on the numerous occasions where Caspa has been holding that level for a long time, a whole week here of consolidation, and equally back in June, and June here to July, 2 weeks of consolidation here at 8 cents below that. So proven to be a very strong level of support right now for Caspa, and we're holding that, which is fantastic news. Jedi Jason, thank you very much for the $5 or $4.99 donation, brother. Thank you very much indeed, you legend. September 10th for smart contract is my bet. That is the confirmers they are the sponsor of, or the conference they're the sponsor of, not waiting for a higher price. Yeah, I actually do agree. I think it's not a bad theory to have, because if you look at the KEF and you look at the current events going on right now, they did highlight that they got an event taking place on the 10th, this one here, with the likes of Tether and Crypto.com also being the co-host of the event that they're going to be in attendance at as well. So maybe they're planning to launch their mainnet at the same time as the big conference that could potentially also link Caspa to a spot listing for Crypto.com, and equally potential stablecoin launching of Tether on the Casplex mainnet as well. Have to wait and see. I don't think 10th September is a bad bet. According to Caspador and other members of the team, there are zero technical issues. It's just something else they're working around. But that being said, we do have updates about the Casplex smart contract, namely here from Shah that we'll get into in a moment. Before we do, though, we'll get into some other parts of the stream first and foremost. But I do agree. Thank you very much for the donation once more, Jedi Jason. I do agree that 10th of September is not a bad suggestion. Hopefully we see it by then, and hopefully the market will be in a bit of uptrend by that point as well. And yes, Crypto Gosu is always right. If you enjoy the streams, always leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. Because while I have been lacking recently due to my personal lives, I tend to do these streams every single day. And with the markets where they're at right now, I'm hoping we'll see a big reversal and rally very, very soon. So in that regard, therefore, now will be the time to build your knowledge of Caspa and crypto in preparation for a potential pump to the upside very soon. Welcome back, Greg. Yo to you too, brother. And you too, fan. Let's go Caspa indeed. Octoplus, stay strong. QC, thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much indeed. I do appreciate it. Yeah. Again, I'm sure I'll be okay. I'm sure I'll be okay. Is this clickbait, or do you know when it comes? I've never said it's not clickbait. No, we've got some huge smart contract updates, namely here from Igra Labs. That's something taking place tomorrow, which is very, very big. I haven't got a date yet for when the smart contracts are coming out. I never said anything about smart contract date coming out. But we do have some big updates coming out for smart contracts. 10th September is the prediction that Jedi has, and I don't think it's a bad suggestion. But we do have some big updates for smart contracts coming out tomorrow. Yeah, smart contract tomorrow. That's from Igra Labs there. Welcome back, Kryptoni, brother. I hope you're doing very, very well, my man. Solana's getting scared, deploying Alpenglow to keep up with Caspa. Be warned, Alpenglow has a ton of security flaws. Wait until you see all the hacks coming. Alpenglow sacrificing major security for speed and efficiency. I've not actually heard of that, which is something I'm going to look into definitely. And again, I'm sure you'll see many other infrastructures, protocols, and projects launching, new innovative upgrades that will help make them compete while also massively sacrificing other key elements. I mean, Ethereum did it just recently with their forget the name of it. It was beginning with a P, Pegasus or whatever it was. but they had another big upgrade that Ethereum got hacked into as a result of it. So again, this is Solana doing their next big step. If there are hacks in it, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'll look into that though, and I'll make sure to talk about it in tomorrow's stream if I can do. I wish Igra came out with smart contracts first, something off about Casplex. More and more people are starting to perceive it that way, truth be told, and I wouldn't lie in saying that I'm becoming a little bit hesitant about it. I'm not too concerned, not just yet, but I am not, like, my conviction in the likes of Igra and what they're building is stronger than what I see from Casplex, and again, it's due to a lack of transparency. That's my concern, just because I don't know what's happening. And when I don't know what's happening as an investor, I'm not going to be, confident in wanting to invest, Now, I do agree. Of course, Igra coming out first might have been better for community sentiment, but at the same time, you've got to remember that they're taking their time, doing their due diligence to make sure everything is really, really smooth sailing. Smart contracts will come up when they're ready. And if you don't like the idea of Casplex, which is understandable if you don't, then you've got to take your time and wait more patiently, ultimately. I'm a top miner, mines on losses only to support Caspa. Well, that's massive conviction there for you, Dimitar, to still mine Caspa on a loss because you still believe in Caspa. That is fantastic stuff. So yeah, we all got a massive shout out to you, brother. You are one of the legends taking part, helping keep Caspa secure in the community despite not making profits right now. Welcome back, Double T, bro. Who's doing very, very well, my man. And yeah, also Kryptoni as well, also contributing to the Caspa security and ecosystem. If we pull back to 7 cents, when would you say that could happen? It's a good question, AW. It does fundamentally depend on Bitcoin and on Ethereum. Right now, Bitcoin's doing very well, up 2% today, after finding that support around this $107,000 zone. And if Bitcoin was to lose this zone down here and come down a lot lower, maybe down to the 102k, then I think you see Caspa come back to 7 cents. Otherwise, then, as it stands, I don't think, and I guess not financial advice, just my opinion, I don't think or believe Caspa will necessarily come back down below 8 cents as of right now. It looks like it's coming that way, but with smart contracts kind of looming, with some big updates, macro updates coming out throughout this week that could be reassuring for the markets. Ethereum is not really moving much today as well, but also holding quite strong around 4.3k. If Caspa was to come, Caspa 8 cents has been proven to be a very, very, very strong level of resistance and support. So Caspa losing this zone would be a very critical situation and would probably result in Caspa coming back down to 7 cents quite quickly. And then finding support at 7 cents and then making a test again to 8 cents again. If we do lose 8 cents, then I think 7 cents is a definite possibility and probably happen within a week or so, again, depending on the catalysts. And then you see a similar situation where you see Caspa probably trying to break above 8 cents for a prolonged period of time and then making a push up like it did here. You saw it happen here for a week, here for 2 weeks, so you might see it again. If you see it go below 8 cents, also consolidate at this zone here below 8 cents for a period of time. Now, it depends ultimately on the market. If the market seems to be stagnating, but ultimately in a gradual uptrend, which the markets look good today, hopefully continue in that fashion, then you'll see Caspa again following suit, because we are still very much following Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. The altcoin cycle's not started just yet. We've got more catalysts to look out for before that happens. Now, that being said, before we get to more of the pleasantries and welcoming back people to the stream once more, let's get into the announcements and content first and foremost. So, from Capital here first, I think it's just a very nice post to start off with. And I agree here that me myself, I also dream and I can hardly wait for when Caspa gets to its well-deserved spot and recognition. So all of these, other projects from your Solana to your XRPs and every other community that bashes Caspa will end up eating their tongue. I think Caspa is a project that will definitely fit that narrative. It's one of the most innovative projects in this space. That's our belief as holders, but also from what we've done our research and also from what we know of Caspa and the technology, it is one of the most impressive things ever built in crypto. And it's only going to get better with Dagnite, with VProgs, and so much more coming out, MEV resistance and whatnot as well. Once Caspa gets recognition, every other project will struggle to keep up with it. And equally, like I said, Kryptoni highlighted before, Solana releasing their new Alpen Glow could also be their understanding of them feeling threatened about Caspa. Now, we've got this post here from Crumpet Media, showcasing what's happened to Caspa in the last 24 hours. The KRI, we already spoke about it a little bit yesterday as well, but the KRI had applied to be a part of the European Central Bank Ponds Market Contact Group. I actually made a post about this yesterday. which I gave a little bit of my source on the matter as well, which is in accordance to this article here for Finextra. Herriman here, the founding partner of Payloom, spoke about the upcoming ISO 20022 deadline earlier this year, and statistics from Swift themselves apparently, according to Herman here, so that apparently 91%, there will be a 91% readiness by November 2025 by all major financial institutions, which is what I've been saying for a while, but here I've actually highlighted the source in question. So you can see the source in question here, posted May 29th, 2025 here, which goes into a bit of detail about the whole matter, talking with other major institutions from JP Morgan to, other major institutions here as well. Deutsche Bank being another one as well, Bank of England as well, all massive companies. And Herman began by outlining the specifics of the upcoming ISO 20022 deadline, highlighting statistics from Swift that forecast 91% readiness by November 2025. And at the time of this the interview, apparently 43% of audience members have already achieved this new standard. And as of now, we also have the Federal Reserve, FedWire, that have also migrated now to ISO 20022. So put it that way, that's a very big deal. Also because the KRI right now are part of this group, are applying to join this group, which will put them more in line with ISO 20022 standards as well, and getting Caspa into that kind of that industry, that corner, if you will, which would be a very, very big deal. Ultimately, I do think this is a great strategy from the KRI to get Caspa ready for institutional adoption, becoming utilized by banks for B2B, bank-to-bank payments and messaging and whatnot. So that's one huge announcement that happened, and again, that's happening this year. So that's one big reason why when people are saying the cycle's already over for, in accordance to Herman here, we're going to see 91% of all financial institutions on this new messaging standard, which is going to be in line with blockchain systems by November this year. We're currently in September, October, 2 months from now, pretty much. It's pretty sure it's middle November, but either way, it's 2 to 3 months from now. Pretty much all FIs will be with this new financial messaging standard, ISO 20022, which Caspa and XR, PXLM, other projects are also trying to align with, or already are aligned with. So that's a very big deal. Big catalyst, in my belief, for gradual and continual adoption. We've got here as well, KF announced that they are a title sponsor of the on-chain symposium at Token Post KR, which is the one that the event takes place on September 10th. Caspa hits over 45 million 24-hour trading volume in the last 24 hours. We can see right now in accordance to CMC. Don't know why it's currently white. I never put it to white. It's decided to do that right now. Let me quickly change that. Don't know why it's done that. It should never do that. Okay, well, put it back here now. So we can see here, currently got 45 million once again. So again, it's still hovering around that zone. It's still, for the most part, quite low, considering how high Caspa has been in the past. We've normally seen it above 100. We've seen it at its peak above 500 million. Again, I'm sure that'll come back in due time with more adoption coming through as well. You can see the volume right now, Kraken at 3%, which for the most part is good considering how low the volume is. Kraken at 3% is also proof that the stablecoin pair that Tether now is on is definitely having some effect to Kraken. Gate still being at 22%, then Mexi at 11%, Bybit at 7.3%, and BitGet just short of 9%. Also looking at the top wallet holders right now as well. 544,000 addresses, seeing some inflows here from Wallet 7, which I believe is that a wallet we know? Yeah, I believe to be a Kraken wallet. And equally, you can see the other inflows and outflows here. Outflows coming out from some big wallets here. This wallet's taking a lot of capital out. Pretty much his whole portfolio has come out. And we can see the inflows here. Wallet 12 as well, seeing 6 million, 6.5 million Caspa, 13, 2.5 million, 29, 1.8 million, and so on and so forth. So Caspa, again, still transactions taking place right now. And if you want to have a little look, you can click on the wallet here, for example, wallet 12. Which again, we don't really know who this wallet is, but if you take a little gander at the transactions here, you can see a total of 5.1 million transactions, so $433,000. That's how much $233,000 here. It costs 0.00045 Caspa for the transaction fees, and it took 0.95 seconds for the whole thing to take place. That is insane. Again, a testament to Caspa's speed and what's coming out for this project, and why I think it'll be in very, very high demand in the future. Gem launch bubble charts for KYC 20, quite cool stuff. Cassia Messaging decided to open source their infrastructure. Zella Swap announced a partnership with Band Protocol. We got an update about that. I'm going to get to a little bit more so in a moment. You got 11 days to go until the Caspa experience in Berlin. Cassia Messaging searched for 15 beta testers for Android for their group chats. Caspa.com unveiled a new token launchpad and decentralized exchange. EzoDev tests out new Cassia Messaging group chats live on Blockchain Banter. And then Elliot dives deep into Cascade with XXIM. So it's been quite an interesting 24 hours for Caspa. But then the big one that just happened earlier today is this from Igra. So Igra announced on the 27th of August, so about a week ago now or so, the public nodes operations are now live. And they announced just earlier today, heads up for the devs, we will be sunsetting Igra DevNet tomorrow. Please make sure to wrap up or migrate anything you're still running there. So ultimately, they were preparing for the public nodes, so the kind of the devs here can run these public nodes, and they're now going to be sunsetting it, going to be releasing it for tomorrow. So that means that they're going to get ready for this kind of next stage happening. So Igra are now getting one step closer to having a full public test net. Right now they're just making the nodes available, and then you see a full public testnet coming very, very soon. Then of course followed by a mainnet, which there is no date, unfortunately. And I know people want to hear a date; they want to know when it's coming out. That's been one of the biggest frustrations in the Caspa community, just not knowing when, always being told soon, but never being told when. And I do share that sentiment and that frustration, but at the same time, I prefer waiting than being told a date and then it not coming to fruition, in regards to similar to what Casplex did, which I do think, again, they've not given a date for when their launch is actually going to happen now, which I would say is what they should have done in the first place. They should have given a rough time, and what we do know for Igra is going to be in Q4, which means sometime from October to December. October, November, December will be when the smart contract mainnet should be coming out. As we're in September now, we've now got basically 4 months or so till we should be seeing a mainnet for Igra. When it will come out, we don't know yet, but either way, the next big step's taking place, and if there are no issues, right now they did highlight here that there are some known limitations. The Ethereum Prague fork, the maximum payload size on the layer 1 being 20k bytes, capped at 10 TPS for now, confirmation times at 5 seconds, and in order to reduce these limitations, that's their top priority right now. So that's what they're currently working on, and that's what we'll be looking at over the next few weeks. They've already, gone to their 6 external operators, and now they're going towards the next step being the DevNet. To shift focus to testnet, we'll be sunsetting DevNet next week. So that's what they're doing right now. So right now they're doing this, shifting the focus to sunsetting to DevNet to next week, so they can then focus on the testnet, the public testnet that we all then can get involved in and start running our own nodes and taking part in seeing what Igra has going on it and seeing all the other applications being built on Igra as well. For example, Zella Swap, who are building on both Casplex and on Igra. So that's a big update, very, very big. And great stuff to see, because I know for the most part, I think more and more people now are starting to have a bit more frustration with Casplex and more belief in Igra. I am trying to remain neutral and unbiased, because Igra, they're a lot more transparent, but again, they're a lot further off. And Casplex, I don't think have been a complete, without a better choice of words, failure. I think they have done some big things for Caspa, but I do admit there are certain entities that I am not comfortable with, or I'm a little bit, again, to kind of state the obvious, the same reason that Shy was kind of forced out. Johnny is in no ways different to Shy in regards to his public rants and outings on Twitter. But yet people have a lot more of an issue with Shy as opposed to Johnny, and a lot more vocal about it at least. Now, in that regard, we wanted to talk about this post here from Casplex. Of course, Casplex did delay their launch for their smart contract, which if you look at Cas Live right now, you can see that the countdown has now shifted to just saying coming soon. So we don't know when, apart from the insider teams, the insider circles, and apparently the KEF. We can see here from Casplex, they said, as we prepare for the launch of our layer 2 on Caspa, we are opening the technological step-by-step to the community. Casplex provides a free RPC service that covers most scenarios. However, for some dApps require high throughput, we highly recommend to run their own RPCs. This is only the beginning. Casplex will open source all components bit by bit until the full stack is transparent and community driven. The code is live here. Now that is a great step in the right direction. However, I've got to be honest, I'm not a builder. And Shai makes a post here, and for Shai being a key researcher and someone who is, again, much more knowledgeable than myself, I do take this into account and look at this from a neutral, open-minded standpoint. According to Shai, and again, he's been in these circles, he knows more, the builders have stated to the likes of Casplex that we have some pressing concerns about how the crucial component works. Getting this wrong could drastically impact the centralization and security of Caspa, and fixing it in retrospect will be difficult and breaking, if not impossible. So there's a seemingly underlying issue in regards to elements regarding the Casplex layer 2, which builders are struggling with and are highlighting apparently that this could also have effects to the centralization and security of Caspa. And Casplex, in Shai's very blunt summary of this, is basically saying, Casplex said, okay, we hear you, we're going to ignore all your concerns and instead release the code of peripheral, much less sensitive component for good optics. And then, degens being therefore people like, I guess, us, is how he's going to kind of put it down. People are saying, great job, you guys. Thank you for being transparent. We believe in you. And the builders are kind of there like, well, what's going on here? And this is currently which is why I said, seeing this post here, for them being more transparent, I'm happy about that because I want transparency. But at the same time, I am not fully aware of all the underlying issues going on within Caspa, within Casplex, because I'm not a builder. I'm sure I have people in my community who have tried building or are builders or, whatnot, and they've probably voiced their concerns to the Casplex team and whatnot. And they maybe even spoke about it to Shai. I'm sure if I go through Shai's own group, which I'm a part of, I just haven't really had the time to look through it, and there are thousands of messages in that going on right now, I could find people talking about it who are builders. Because I'm sure there's information in there, but I've not gone through that. And that's up to me, so I need to do my own due diligence and look into it. Again, you should all be doing your own due diligence and your own research. But he highlights here, Shai simply put, highlights here that there seems to be some particular concerns that could drastically impact Caspa security and decentralization, and fixing it would be a very, very tough thing to do. And Casplex are kind of like, okay, well, we're going to become more transparent so people, will believe us. And of course, people will be like, great, thank you for being transparent, we believe in you. But the builders are like, well, that doesn't fix our issue about how, how significantly impactful this issue is that could impact Caspa security and centralization. And you've got to look at this again from an open standpoint. At one point, we do know that Shai does have some vendetta with the KEF, namely Johnny, well, mainly Johnny. And unfortunately, Casplex is an extension to the KEF. Now we can see here, a bit of a back and forth here. BRT just asking, do you believe that this could be having the same risk what happened to KRC20 when many wallets didn't work correctly? So I cannot know what risks are because I don't have access to the code. That's essentially the problem because no one has access to the code. And he goes back and forth here. Someone asking, this point here. So I have to admit the release of the RPC component code does show we are open source was kind of funny. Again, I'm sure people who are probably more technical and computer science than me will know the whole significance of this than I would myself. But they're going back and forth here just talking about it. And, the questions of regard to what about Igra Labs? And Shah, of course, is Igra Labs so far have been very communicative and very transparent, so he preferred them. And I think that's the general consensus right now. And I think Shah is the main driver of it. And again, you got to understand that Shai does have a personal vendetta against Johnny and the KF and then seemingly Casplex as well. And while he may be justified in having that, maybe he knows more than we don't. Which is why, again, I understand that Shai's got a vendetta, so I don't take it at face value and then think, okay, Casplex is just terrible. I don't think that. But I'm an investor. I'm also a cautious investor. I will make sure I'm doing my research as much as I can do. So when I'm seeing these grey flags or potential red flags, I just basically observe more than take action. For Igra, for example, they've been very transparent. That's why I took part in an Igra pre-sale. And I've been transparent about that as well. I took part in it. I went through Wolfie to do that. Have Wolfie and a team to do that as well. I got a little bit. Of course, the Igra tokens don't come out until the actual mainnet comes out, but I've, allocated some, which many other people in the community have done so as well. Now, I've not taken part in anything in regards to Casplex's ecosystem right now. And I do plan to get involved a little bit, but for the most part, I'm going to probably play more observant, me personally. I'm not saying you should do the same, but me personally, I'm going to play more observant at the beginning or do very, very little because there are certain elements that I just don't completely understand or don't completely know. And I don't want to blindly trust something. For example, in regards to other news, World Liberty. Trump's family's wealth increased by $5 billion after the launch of the World Liberty FI token, WLFI token, surpassing real estate as their largest asset. And look at what happened to World Liberty. This is literally what happens time and time again. Happened with Trump coin, happened with World Liberty, it's happened with Kanye's coin, all this rubbish. It was telegraphed it was always going to happen. Always going to happen. And again, even though it's a big name, Donald Trump, TradFi, I don't blindly trust things that I have no idea about. You've got to do your own research in this space. Things might seem too good to be true, and if it is, that might be a problem. You've got to make sure you know what you're holding. So in regard to Caspa as an asset, I think it's a great asset. I understand there's been some big trial tribulation with its price for a long time, and I think what's coming up for Caspa is truly innovative. But I do also see that there are going to be people who know that and will aim to take advantage of it. You've had Probify, you've had KDX, you've also had Change Finance, who have all scammed the community. And there'll be many more. I would like to hope and believe that Casplex and KF aren't one of the groups who will do that. And right now, I don't think they will, because they've given me enough of a reason to believe that they aren't going to do that. But I cannot simply ignore, whether it's personal vendettas or not, I cannot simply ignore the concerns being raised by people who were very, very ingrained members of the Caspa community. He was a core researcher. Again, whether you like to believe it or not, or trust it or not, Shai was someone who was a very, very deeply ingrained member to Caspa. He was part of Igra Labs. He wasn't a developer, he was a researcher, but he therefore knew a lot more about the code than many of us will ever know or truly understand. And Shai is simply just, again, trying to raise warnings. And part of me hopes he's wrong. Part of me does hope he's wrong. But at the same time, I hope that if he is right, people at least had the intellect. Maybe not intellect. Maybe the cautiousness, or the caution to at least to have an open mind about what he's saying, and just, again, act on the side of caution, because you don't want to end up putting in stupid amounts of capital into an ecosystem for it to then just completely steal it all. And I'm not saying Cap's going to do that. I don't want to make it sound like I am, because I'm not. I'm not at all. But there does seem to be some underlying issues that, and again, it all stems down to a lack of transparency. That's the whole problem here, is a lack of transparency. We don't know. If we knew, then we could say something. Shai can't for a moment give his 2 cents on what's going to happen, because he doesn't understand. He doesn't know what the code is. Nobody knows the code behind Casplex besides the developers. Whereas Igra, they've showcased it all. Or they're showcasing it all. So, again, that's just my 2 cents on the matter. I'm sure I'd like to hear what you people think as well. So let me get some questions real quickly. Where I'm currently at here with... I'm right here with Buffalo, Crypto Gosu, Dimitar, Alpenglow will bring Solana to 150 MS finality, which is still 50% slower than Caspa. It's just going to be a train wreck, end of the day, when it does come out. Welcome back, AW bro, you're doing very, very well. Cheers, man, QC, the real one. I appreciate it very, very much, brother. I'm glad that my answer was helpful for you. Mr. Miles first, you're very good at this indeed. Welcome back, bro. You're doing very well, brother. Why does it feel like Ethereum drags Caspa down? Even when Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum falls and then Caspa follows? Because Ethereum is perceived as the altcoin indicator. With how crypto is right now, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up massively, assets follow in suit. If Bitcoin goes down massively, everything else follows in suit. Ethereum is the second biggest asset, the leader of the altcoin. So what Ethereum does has a lot more impact on the other altcoins below it. Right now, Bitcoin's rallying a lot. Ethereum's not really moving. Alts are equally not moving massively. I mean, 2% for Bitcoin's a lot. 2% for Caspa is not really a lot. But it's moving a little bit. You've had, Zebex up 1.8%, Turbo 5%, everything's not really moving too drastically today. Ultra's down 2.8% right now. If Ethereum was up, Ethereum being the altcoin indicator, if Ethereum's rallying massively, then alt will follow in suit. Right now, if you look at Bitcoin dominance right now, it's still extremely high, 58.67%. It might be starting to make a recovery, or maybe it's starting to go through that gradual downturn, which is the indicator an altcoin cycle starting to come through very, very soon. Will it go below 50%? Tough to say. Some believe it won't. Historically speaking, it will. But it's understandable that with treasuries being formed and Bitcoin's being held by BlackRock and Fidelity and every other massive FI, that maybe the dominance of Bitcoin won't fall off that low. But I have to wait and see. But to answer your question, yeah, it's because Ethereum's the leader of the altcoins. That won't be the case forever. Probably the cycle will be the last cycle for Ethereum, my belief. But I have to wait and see. Free Mr. Miles, hashtag cancel bees on toast. No, you can never cancel bees on toast. Does Shire have these same concerns for Igra? Right now, it doesn't look like it, as you can see here. What about Pavel, who is the co-founder of Igra and Igra Labs? Do they deserve a hug, in regards to that? And he says, so far, so good. They've been very transparent and communicative. So again, it's just a case of, because again, it comes down to purely just the transparent element of Igra compared to Casplex is the concern that Shai is trying to raise. And of course, Shai has a personal vendetta against joining the KEF, but because of that, therefore, he may understand more of the inner workings of that third-party group, and therefore is trying to warn the community before we're taken advantage of. Or maybe he's just simply venting his frustrations that he's, of course, was done wrong by them. Again, I don't know the whole story, so I cannot say more. All I can do is just raise concerns for you all to try and do more research, or at least stay more vigilant. We can see the whole, thread here is like, have to admit the release of RPC components code to show we are open source was kind of funny. The perception gap between builders and degens is huge, and that's the ultimate thing as well. That's why I don't want you to term degens, but at the same time, with respect, I am a degen. We are, in that regard, technically degens. We are, unless again, if you're building something, then fantastic. And I know people in the community are building stuff, and if you are, hats off to you because you guys are legends. For me, I'm not building anything. I'm simply just someone who's really invested into Caspa, who believes in it and sees what's being built and is excited about it. But I do remain cautious in what's happening in anything in crypto, even Caspa, because stuff in Caspa can also be perceived as a scam. We've seen it already, again, Probify, KDX, and Change Finance. And then also people in the community who equally have taken advantage of people in the community, which I'll get into this post again in a moment. But yeah, there's a very big perception gap between builders and degens. And what Shai's highlighting here, builders have raised concerns to Casplex. They've ignored it and released some form of peripheral, much less sensitive component for good optics. Released code for good optics, and of course we as degens have just said great stuff. And I do think it's good that Casplex released something that makes it more transparent. But in the grand scheme of things, according to what Shai and builders are seemingly in agreement of, it's not about code for good optics. It's about the actual fundamental crucial code that they have issues about. And Casplex capitalizes it, and Casplex capitalize on it unabashedly. It's a red double king size bed sheet, red flag basically. Should we give them a hug, make them earn it? What about Igra? So far so good. Looking forward to lock the hug with the P2SH with lock time for them. So let's see Q4 2025 when Igra launch their mainnet. So we are not far off Q4. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but as it stands right now, I am very, very doubtful that we're seeing the mainnet for Igra coming out in October, early Q4, because the testnet's not fully out just yet. I'd like to believe it'll probably be mid to end, more so probably end of Q4, maybe December time, because what they want to do is release a testnet and then give it ample time to be tested and really stress test before they then release to the mainnet for the whole community to use. So you'll probably see it in December time. But again, maybe if it's early, then fantastic. Now we have got another update here as well that I'll get to in a moment. It's basically a summary of what's my Twitter's doing weird things. I'm following people that I haven't unfollowed. We got a whole, basically a summary here of basically what the VProgs are like a little bit. I'll get into a little bit in a moment as well. But again, before I do, let me get to more questions real quickly. You must realize oh my god, you must be holding KTA. I just realized because of Cheetah. No, I don't hold KTA at all. Yeah, and that's also because people, for the most part, retailers treat Caspa as an altcoin, because it's kind of how it's perceived. So what Ethereum does, every other crypto asset follows in suit. But for the most part, yes, Bitcoin and Caspa are not in the same kind of technical bracket. Caspa has to do way more work though with partners, and it has to deliver what they promise ASAP. Otherwise, it won't fly compared to the Beck and KTA. I mean, comparatively, comparing Caspa to the Beck and KTA, I don't think is remotely fair, and I heart it for a number of reasons. One, because they are significantly smaller projects. Kita, it's got a $300 million market cap. And Zebek has maybe 400-500 million. If I look at Zebek right now, equally $350 million market cap. So they're both very, very small comparatively. And then also, these are not proof of works. They're completely different projects. So I do agree that Caspa, or the people who are building on Caspa, do need to try and deliver what they're trying to deliver in a timely fashion. But I'm still not too worried, and I also try my best not to compare Caspa to really any project besides maybe Bitcoin, because again, it's trying to follow Bitcoin in a proof of work matter consensus. Everything else in this space, like people who've compared Caspa to XRP, I'm like, how does that make sense? XRP is a proof of stake. There's literally no comparison. They're different projects entirely. Now, I'm not too well versed with Kita. I'm more understanding of Zebek. And Zebek are trying to target the payroll industry, where Caspa's trying to target kind of everything, but its fundamental underlying business plan for Caspa, if you will, is to build an extremely scalable, decentralized, and cheap protocol. Zebek's not doing that. It's trying to target the payroll industry. So again, it's not the same industry they're targeting either. Now, Caspa could expand into that industry. Same way that Zebek could maybe expand into try and do what Caspa's trying to do. But at the same time, Caspa's got decentralization, which nothing else can truly have because it's not fair launch, But that's just, again, me trying to be technical and nitpicking for the most part. Kita up 381% from its founding. If you look at Zebek, Beck equally up about, apparently it's 13%. Zebek is currently up about 61% from its founding. And then, of course, if you load up Caspa is up 40,000% from its launch 4 years ago now. Which is, again, just a testament to Caspa and where it's at, 45,000%. It's been a long haul. It's been a tough year and a half for Caspa, because that's when it was peaking. It peaked in August 1st, 2024. So it's been a tough year and a half for Caspa. But I actually, it's been just over a year now, actually. It's been just over a year. Yeah, it's August 2024, so now we're going into September. Yeah, so it's been about 13 months now for Caspa. Been a tough 13 months. But as Kathy Wood said, the longer the base, the bigger the breakout. And I think Caspa, again, with what's coming out, the smart contracts, the potential stablecoins, the potential tier 1 listings, the other significant catalysts that I talk about with my VIPs, the regulatory frameworks, the treasuries being formed, the ETF filings, all those other elements, what the KRI are doing, these stuff will be fantastic for Caspa and give it a lot more incentive and adoption in the latter half of the cycle. And again, I don't want to compare Caspa to other projects, but if you look at other projects historically speaking, look what they did in the last legs of the bull run, the last 2, 3, 4 months of the bull run. They exploded 15, 20 plus X. So in that regard, I'm not saying Caspa will do the same thing, but I'm just saying don't rule Caspa out just yet, What have they launched at the same time? I personally don't think they will, because if I'm being perfectly honest, I think that Casplex will, at least from the retail side of things, they'll probably lose out to Igra if they launch at the same time. Because I think for the most part, community sentiment has shifted more so to support Igra over Casplex. That's my perception from what I've heard from the community. So I think Casplex's best bet is to front run and get ahead and launch a really trustworthy, stable, and efficient ecosystem layer 2 that therefore may prevent retailers from wanting to look at Igra as much because they got Casplex. Not saying it won't happen, of course, definitely could, but I don't think they will launch at the same time. I think you might see Casplex try to time their mainnet launch with Igra's testnet launch, because it was quite funny how Casplex announced their mainnet launch the same time Igra announced their testnet plans. So you might see them try and do that. But I have to wait and see. Well, let's be fair about Casplex. First, Cas20 is awesome, super cool, and I'm glad we have them, thanks Casplex. Secondly, Cas20 launches were absolutely unprofessional, the coding was sloppy, they didn't do proper testing, and they rushed FG Casplex. Pretty much, Mr. Marsh, you're completely right. From the start of things, the launch of KLC20s, the launch of it, the coding was terrible. You had so many issues, congestion and whatnot. Saying that, I still had 1.5 million transactions on the first day, which is insane. You know, it's still insane. And then on the relaunch, it was over 15, 16 million, which is equally insane. But the launch of the KLC20 was terrible. Now, in saying that, I do enjoy this community. And again, I do hold some of the tokens, Nacho and Wolfie. And I do plan to expand in the somewhat not too distant future. Maybe looking into some Conan, maybe some... Again, I haven't decided exactly what I want to get into just yet. But the two that I'm holding right now are two that I think are building really, really good things that I think will do very well. So I do like this community, but I cannot ignore that the initial launch and even the relaunch was terrible. Which is why, again, I think Casplex have a lot more pressure on them for this to be a really successful launch, because otherwise people will lose faith in them. They're already on 2 strikes, technically speaking. And people are starting to get frustrated, I think, with Johnny, because Johnny is acting similarly to how Shy is acting, and they're still beefing each other, throwing a little shade here and there, because they don't like each other. And I personally think if one should be out, both should be out, but hey, maybe I'm just, again, speaking my mind. What's up, Ghosty Boy? Can you maybe make a video explaining synchronously composable verifiable programs or VProgs? Yes, I can. I will make a video this week talking about the smart contracts. So talking about the developments of Casplex, developments of Igra Labs, and then I'll also talk about the VProgs being built by some Polinsky and Co. At some point later this week. I'll aim for tomorrow. If not, it'll be Thursday. And if somehow not Thursday, 100% there'll be a video out on Friday. Like, absolutely, you'll see a video on Friday, but I'll try and get it out tomorrow or Thursday. Don't be a moon boy, be realistic, and don't hold the bag. I mean, that's the whole point here as well. I hold multiple assets, you know? I hold multiple assets. I hold XRP. I did sell off some of my assets recently because the markets are going through a downturn. I thought I'd take some profits. I sold a bit of my Sui, I sold all of my Say at a loss because of reasons. I sold a bit of my Tau, but I've also been scooping up more and more. I hold a lot of Caspa, but I do hold other assets, and XRP is another one that I hold as well, and that's done great for me. I'm not being a moon boy. I think for me, it's one of my biggest traits of trying not to be too unrealistic. You know, my biggest saying is don't be emotional, be logical. Logically speaking, if you're looking at the markets and looking at how everything happens, people are saying $10 Caspa. While you're entitled to believe, I think that's a bit too much. People are saying $1 Caspa, I think it's a little more realistic. There's a $26 billion market cap. Which when you look at other assets, you look at like what AVAX did or Solana did, they comfortably surpassed that when they were sitting at around the $1 billion market cap originally at the time. So again, it's a matter of perspective, and I think Casper is still within a good shot to do very well this cycle, and then especially from years on to follow that as well. And I'll, again, in the video that I make, or even maybe in tomorrow's stream, I'll showcase some of my sources, my VIP sources that I don't always do it, but I'll showcase some of my VIP sources, which will just give you an inkling into what we talk about in my VIP, which again you can join for free for a week, or equally you can join my VIP free for a month if you sign up to BYDFI. No KYC, no VPN exchange that we are currently working alongside. You can join for free for a month or for a week, and you'll see some of the information provided in there, the alpha information in there, which again is just trying to bring more understanding to the space. For example, and I'm just going to read it from what I'm looking at right now. You have, which one should I look at? You have this documentation here from Nethermind, and PwC Germany. You know what? I'll showcase it right now. I'll showcase some more. I'll start leaking little bits here and there. Of course, I'm not going to show all of it because that's what the VIPs also pay for and get early access to. So you also find the information earlier as well. But this is one of my documents here from Nethermind and PwC. For reference, PwC works with DRI, KRI. So this is, has some form of loose connection to Caspa, therefore. Tokenization standards, the missing link for institutional adoption. Now, in summary of this article, they basically say here that the tokenization asset market is expected to reach $16.1 trillion by 2030, with a 50.1% CAGR compound annual growth rate from 2022 to 2026. Which is again a true testament to just how early we are. This isn't just growth, this is a complete rewiring of our global financial system, from real estate to equity to treasuries, commodities, stablecoins, all of it will be tokenized. Everything will be tokenized. And it's taking place now. So again, when people are saying that Caspa's, done for, and the standard, or even that cryptos, all this stuff, you have really, and with the utmost respect, no one has a true understanding of just how early we are. Unbelievably early. And this is again me just very much glossing over this article here. And I have hundreds of more articles and interviews in my VIP as well, where you can hear literally hear these asset managers. You had the wealth transfer confirmed from two other massive banks at the Crypto Valley conference that happened earlier this year in June, where they literally said that digital assets are a non-negotiable for traditional finance. Digital assets are a non-negotiable for traditional finance. Now, this is what they're talking about continuously. So if you want to find out more, see the interviews and get the information, you can check out the VIP. You can check it out for free for a week, or equally for a month. Again, check out the BYDFI, the link down below in the description, and check out the free Discord server. You can follow the steps in the Get VIP Access channel, and you can get a month free here. You can learn a lot more in there and get yourself prepared for why market position in Caspa and crypto has not wavered yet, and doubt it will, because I know what's coming to the space. Mr. Martin bipolar today. He always bipolar. Always bipolar. QC beats me. There you go. Exactly. There you go. Exactly. They like both me and I like both of them. Kita, I'm not too well versed with Kita. Yeah, again, the general statement behind Tony here, I do agree that comparing, I'm not saying they're trash compared to Caspa, because I think everyone's entitled to respect and believe and invest what they want to invest into, but I do believe that comparing Kita or Zebek to Caspa is an unfair comparison. Not just market cap wise, but also what they're building. Caspa is not building the same thing, it's also fundamentally different. Proof of work compared to proof of stake, fair launch, decentralized compared to VC backed or whatever not, Yeah. Caspa easily has the strongest community in the crypto space, with the exception of Granddaddy Bitcoin. Pretty much. Yeah, don't worry about Trump, worry about Caspa not listing on tier 1s, and SK is still not here. Smart contracts are still not here. Yeah, it's still not here, and tier 1s is you're definitely entitled to voice those concerns, Lenny, and I agree. Smart contracts not being here, and still no of the top tier 1s. We have got Casplex, we have got Kraken, and Bybit and BitGet, but without no Binance yet, which is the biggest shock. Yeah, it's still very frustrating. It does not stop me from believing we'll still get them this cycle. Just a question of when, really. We have got some updates here again about the whole this proposition. We got this update here as well, which is also quite interesting. Which is also in the title today about Trump's tariffs here. Trump's era tariffs ruled illegal. This could force the US government to repay billions already collected, stretching an already tight budget, which you can see the treasuries have jumped up as a result of that. We've got an article here from Reuters as well here, which in summary of the whole article here, basically the US Appeals Court ruled that most of Trump's tariffs, specifically those imposed under the IEEPA, which is the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, they are illegal, with the decision being, I think it was 7-4. Yeah, 7-4 decision here. So the decision does not affect tariffs on the likes of like steel or aluminium, and it is aluminium, not aluminum. I'm gonna die on that hill. It's aluminium. I know Mr. Mouse is already crying about that. But yeah, the court decision does not impact the steel or aluminium tariffs, but the other ones. And they basically have allowed these, quote, illegal tariffs to remain in play until October 14th. Where was that stated? Just read it earlier. I'll just Control F. October, there you go. Yeah, so the court allowed the tariffs to remain in play through October 14th to give Trump administration a chance to appeal with the US Supreme Court. The ruling adds to the legal challenges facing Trump's economic policies. It's basically it's going to cause uncertainty. So again, be concerned, or not concerned, but be vigilant that the markets may go through a little bit of a uncertain month, maybe. You know, rate cuts could be the breather we need if we get that this month, but you know, with what's happening right now, with, you know, this next 6 weeks, with the potential appeal to the Supreme Court that may or may not go through, if it ends up not going through, it could see a pullback again. We just got to keep that in mind with Trump's tariffs being voted, a lot of them being voted as illegal. But in the silver lining as well, and some good news here, the SEC and CFTC have now allowed spot trading for certain cryptocurrencies on US registered exchanges. So again, proof of what's coming to this space. More and more adoption. Fantastic stuff all around. We cannot say no to this. We cannot be upset about this stuff happening more and more. Now, in some other news, before I get some more questions real quickly, we have got this post here, again, about BAN protocol partnering or onboarding Zealous, which is, you know, good start for them. A detailed announcement is coming soon, so we'll hear more about that very, very soon, I'm sure. So that's great stuff all around. This post here about VProgs that I will post in my community. Basically just giving an understanding about it, or a bit of a rundown about it. So that'll be quite cool. Of course, it'll make Caspa, I guess, a lot more decentralized and a lot better as well. But then I also wanted to quickly give one more community warning here. And again, it's not like me normally to out other communities here, but I think maybe I should be using my platform more so to raise awareness and spread concerns, as opposed to just keeping quiet on matters. I don't want to get into internet beef. It's not my thing, and I also will avoid it. But I cannot ignore stuff taking place like here with Archetype, which of course him and CGO recently caught up and proven with receipts to take part in a rug pull and scandal with their own community members. And Archetype's community apparently made a post here saying, I've made mistakes. I've made the mistakes a few times of actually taking profits and not wanting to tell my group or YouTube because I knew it would kill the chart when it's not what I want. I didn't want to ruin the opportunities for others to make money if the coin keeps pumping. Instead, I'd rather be upfront and tell you I do swing trades things at times as I should, because I literally put my neck on the line, get hated on and backlash every time, and I give the project exposure, which is opportunity for people here to make money. I'm not a perfect investor, nor do I claim to be. When it comes to ever getting paid for a project, if I ever do, it's because I was going to buy the project regardless, and they offered. I have to look out for myself and do business, and this is the line of work. End of the day, I think it's a very, very generic but also poor excuse, or poor disclaimer. I don't know what the right word is, you know, because at the end of the day, if you're going to invest in, if someone's going to pay you to promote something, that's fine. You know, that's fine. You know, again, people, it's a business. What I'm doing is a business. So you're going to make your money how you're going to make your money, fine. But if you're doing it at the expense of your community, it's wrong. Fundamentally straight up wrong. There's nothing remotely right about that. And if your reasoning for that is because I didn't want to see the project die, well, how's that fail? How's that make any excuse, you know? Like, for me, if I was to get paid to promote a project, like, I don't even know if I could hold it. Like, let's just say, for example, Conan or Kango was to ask me to promote their project, and I was to do it. Like, I would be very, very transparent with my community if I was going to sell anything, and even then, I probably wouldn't take it in the form of tokens bought. Because if I'm holding an asset and then I sell it, I'm done with my community. It's a very delicate situation, but again, this is like, it's not the first time Archetype's been doing this, and it is the first time he's actually admitted to it doing it, and it's because it has receipts and he's been fully caught out by doing it. Now, again, who you believe and who you want to take into account, who you want to, follow, that's completely up to you. I don't want beef with Archetype because I can be so transparent and honest. If I do, I'm not going to respond to him. I don't care. I don't think I'm big enough to have Archetype come in my way, but I just don't care for it. My hearts go out to everybody who's been caught out time and time again by individuals like him, and there are a number of people in the community who have been in Caspa community who have done it with Caspa related stuff, or equally with other projects as well, who have just taken advantage of people, and it sucks, and it really, really does suck. And it's again, trust is such an easy thing to lose, and it's a very, very hard thing to gain. And and again, with situations like this that's happened time and time again, I could never trust people like that, which is why I can say with my moral compass I would never do something like that, because unless I can see unless I can see a way to make a profit but not also harm my community, I could never do that, because there's no benefit in it besides me hurting people, and that's not the point. Like, if I have to get rich off the expense of other people, then there's no point in it, in my belief. But that's just maybe my moral compass again. But that's Archetype. I'm sure CG is also either ignored or addressed the situation at hand as well. End of the day, these two are big enough to where it won't really affect them. Or it'll be people calling them out, and it'll be swept under the rug again in the coming months, and they'll do it again probably. They've done it enough times now. Caspa doesn't need tier 1 listings. I mean, it would help. It would help. Tier 1 to Caspa, I mean, yeah, we can agree on that, I guess. If I'm right, Casplex is working on smart contract, but Igra Labs is working or on what? So, Casplex and Igra are both working on smart contracts, but going about it at different means. So, I mean, they're both basically launching smart contracts. Casplex trying to launch ZK EVMs, and Igra launching something else a little bit different, but still Ethereum virtual machines. I'm pretty sure the information is available in my Discord community, and in the video I'll make later this week, I'll try and explain the difference between what both communities are building. But both Igra and Zeb and Casplex are building smart contracts. It's just the ways they're going about it is different. And of course, Casplex should be coming out a lot earlier. Former CEO of Google is heading Kita. I mean, that does definitely give some reassurance. Same thing for like the fact that JP Morgan and MasterCard and Circle are backing and partnered with Zebek. But again, you could just take it into example about these big corporations like World Liberty, of course backed by Trump, but other big corporations who have just taken advantage of people. Big smart money don't care about us. Of course, you've got Google backing a project, or MasterCard or JP Morgan backing a project. You're like, oh, that's great news. It's going to be safer. They are going to make money. How are they going to make money? They don't care. Yeah. Do you see Caspa at $10 to $15 next bull run 2030? Anything's possible. That's how I'm going to put it, fan, because it could happen. Maybe it could, but at the same time, no one knows what the future has in store for it. When we're looking at documentation like this, that I published my VIPs, and we're seeing how much money is going to come in the next 5 years, then I would say quite comfortably, yes. I don't see why Caspa couldn't therefore reach a $200 to $400 billion market cap. $200 to $400 billion market cap doesn't seem a lot when you're going to see, multiple trillions in the next 5 years. So, in that regard, then yes, but it depends whether institutions are actually right and the Caspa just get widely adopted, which we don't know for sure. I think it will do, but we don't know for sure. Caspa is the future, of course I'm holding the bag, as you should do. Caspa is the real Bitcoin, fight me. Always, Mr. Mars, I always fight you. Coin has grown in popularity as it aligns with Caspa's listing. I'm not saying there's a connection, but absolutely there's a connection. I love the connections there. The tariffs aren't illegal, just more rogue liberal judges. Either way, whether illegal or not, it's been voted that way. So unless Trump can appeal it in the Supreme Courts, we'll see what happens. But again, it's something you've got to take into account, that it therefore may affect markets due to more uncertainty. No. Where is it? Aluminium. Well, actually, it's spelled here. Oh, wait. How do you... Wait. Okay, yeah, it's how it's spelled. It's how it's spelled here. This is an American... Obviously, it's voiced as American, so it's spelled aluminum. But aluminium, it's got an I in it. If you type in aluminium, it's ALUMINIUM. Not... It's Mr. I here. Mr. I right there. It's aluminium. And I'm not going to back off that one. You can correct me about Z and Z the whole time. It is aluminium. So I guess Kraken will be the ones to release the Chaos 20. It may be the first one. Maybe they are. They seem to be the most aligned. And yeah, welcome back, Antonio. You're doing very, very well. I disagree with people that need to understand that there's no project holds a candle to Caspa for many reasons. Caspa will be the end game, and making sure people don't, that Caspa is not some garbage corporate token. It's important because that's what crypto is made for. In that regard, then yes, I agree. I don't want to put up other investors to other things, because the way I perceive it is we're in a crypto gold mine, figuratively speaking, where there's money to be made everywhere. But if you want to go into, in our belief, the strongest, best, most innovative project that stands out from everything else, then yes, it is Caspa. Caspa's different. It's not the same. You cannot compare Caspa to Solana, to XRP, to Kita, to Sebek, because those are corporate proof of stake tokens. Caspa is a coin that you mine. So it's fundamentally different at the very, very foundational basis level. But you can make money elsewhere as well. So again, it's up to what you want to do. CG is a tool. Galaxy Cup. I mean, yeah, people for the most part don't appreciate him anymore. And again, I'm not here to get into any beef. But, and again, I don't get into beef. I don't tend to like talking about, like, there have been situations in the past where you've had multiple content creators, Archetype, CG, and many others that I do know name, but I'm not going to name of, who have been seemingly caught out in taking advantage of their community in scandals and rugs. But the reason why I'm actively talking about this one right now is because there's literal receipts. It's not been a case of people going through the backdoor corridors and finding their wallets and proving it, which is still proof, but they're going through the backdoor corridors. This is literally text receipts from Kurt on base, showing that they've actually just taken advantage of our community and sold stuff. So like that's like, okay, well, when the actual receipt about that, then there's no like, because my whole thing that I have trying to be concerned of as well is not a very prevalent thing, but there's always a risk of defamation, where I'm saying something that's not true and therefore I get a lawsuit on me. There's receipts there, there's proof. So the receipts are there, the proof is there. Archetype even apologized for it, and CG is probably no different boat either. So in that case, it's not a case of defamatory; it's literal evidence. So that I can now speak about a little bit. But again, I don't want to get into much into it because I don't like fudding. It's just drama is so tiring. I don't like it. Caspa will moon soon. Don't worry. Price consolidating. I agree. I agree. If I stop telling people that you beat me, can I become fresh air and sun next week? Yeah, you can have fresh air and sun whenever you want. I'm not holding you down wherever you believe you're holding you down. Yeah, you're free, man. You're American. You're free as everyone wants to be. If I was concerning, it would be going down right now. I mean, yeah, I'm not concerned at all. Caspa and Bitcoin are the only two coins that have taken the human control element off the table. That's why they thrive. I agree with Cryptony. I do. And that's also why I think Caspa's in for a great shot in the not too distant future. Its time will come soon. That being said, though, family, that'll be for today's Caspa Crypto live stream. If you enjoyed, again, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more, check out the free community. I'm calling out Jesse AI for being a fraud. Yep, I know you don't like Jesse AI. I am not going to base an opinion on him because I have watched his content. I think he's got some good takes, but I know people have different opinions as well. Again, that's just me personally. I have seen both the good and bad sides for pretty much all content creators. I'm sure there are bad stuff about me as well. Has Caspa contacted you privately or given you coins? No, because Caspa's a fair launch project, so it's not a case. Caspa's a fair launch project. The developers don't have that sort of, they haven't got any pre-allocation. So no, I've not been contacted by any. There's only been one Caspa project to try and contact me, and that was Caspa EVM, and I didn't want to do it because it's dodgy for me. But otherwise, then no, I've not been contacted about anything Caspa related because it's not really how it works. But yeah, and touche. Yeah, can't, especially right now. The weather's been terrible right now. We're going to September right now, so it's getting cold again. Which honestly, I hate it. I hate being cold. I hate this country. That being said, hopefully my Caspa bag will get me out soon. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more. Check out the free community in the description, also on my homepage here as well, or the VIP. And equally, BYDFI, a no KYC, no VPN exchange. You can get many benefits if you sign up through the affiliate link down below, like 17% discount on all trading fees, $8,100 cashback, and so much more. They've got an Ethereum trading campaign going on right now, trying to earn $10,000 in Ethereum. All links down below in the description. Have a great day, good evening, and good night. Shut up, Mr. Miles. And I'll see you all in the next one. I appreciate you all very, very much.